Hi everyone, welcome to Hydroponics. Today I'm going to offer you guidance on choosing the best hydroponics system to suit your needs. If you've seen my previous video discussing hydroponics systems and the reason behind investing in one, you're aware that my journey into hydroponics began after taking an environmental science class in the summer of 2023. I became so passionate about this method of growing food that I started researching the products available to individuals like me. I discovered that 4 companies stand at the forefront of the market: Let's Grow, Gardyn, Aerogarden, and IGWorks. These companies offer kits for growing veggies, herbs, and fruits indoors or outdoors year-round using water. Now, there are a few differences between their products that you want to pay attention to before you opt for one system rather than another, and those differences, which I will list in order of importance, are the durability, the growing capacity, and the cost. You might be wondering why I have placed cost at the bottom of my list. Well, truth to be told, none of these systems come cheap. They are all expensive, ranging from $400 to $1,000, and if you are aiming for efficiency, you will need a starting budget of at least $800, no kidding. I personally opted for the farm stand by Let's Grow, and I will explain why later in this video. But before we proceed, I want to clarify that I have no sponsorship affiliation with this brand, and I aim solely to provide you with my honest opinion. Drawing from my background as a journalist, my experience with hydroponics, and all the research that I have done on the topic, I'm here to help you make the right choice for yourself. Let's take a look at what each manufacturer includes in their kit, knowing that if seedlings are included, it is only to get you started, then you will have to purchase your own seedlings or grow them. I made this table for you, which I used to make my own judgment before purchasing my farm stand from Let's Grow. I relied solely on information provided by the manufacturers on their website, reviews from Amazon, and other online sources such as Facebook group chats. After all, if you are to spend close to $800 on a product, it better be a good one that meets several criteria. Here is what I found. The pump stands out as a vital component in any hydroponic system. So it's always supplied, but be careful about the cost of replacement. You cannot expect a pump or a timer to run 24/7 and keep on functioning for years. On average, if it is of high quality, you should expect it to last at least 2 to 5 years. I think it's safe to plan on replacing it after 2 years. We can see that Gardyn has the highest cost for pump replacement. And the problem I see with that is that when you start typing a query in Google that looks like that, Gardyn pump, Google comes up with a follow-up query, not working, meaning that this is the common query about the Gardyn related to the topic pump. If you are familiar with the Google algorithm, you know that query completion is based on predictions. Most of the time, the result returned at the top of the list is the most trending for the topic, the most recent in terms of usability. On a personal note, I have had my Let's Grow system for 8 months without any pump issues, so I consider this to be a good point in favor of that system. The pump durability should also be evaluated in relation to the tank's capacity. If you have a smaller tank like the Aerogarden, it is expected to have a smaller, less expensive pump. However, this also means that you cannot grow as many plants on your system and will have to refill it more often. Thus, more maintenance is involved. What about the other parts or modules that compose your system? Here too, you will find it relevant to dive into the user's reviews for each product. It will soon become clear that Gardyn falls short in comparison to its competitors. Many more comments about Gardyn than its competitors are on the negative side. Lots of them report early system failure, breakage, or leaks. And I don't know about you, but when you are about to spend close to $900 for such a product, none of these comments inspire trust. If you plan on using your system for a long time, the solidity of its tank and irrigation pipes is paramount. Wear caused by water is inevitable after some time, so it will happen, but you don't want it to happen before 5 years at least. The main point of a hydroponic system is to help the environment, not contribute to polluting it even more. The fact that Gardyn is selling replacement parts at a low price is not satisfactory and tends to indicate that those parts won't last. Indeed, comments describe them as flimsy and easy to break during tank cleaning. All that is not good because maintenance can be a hassle on these systems, so you really don't want flaws to make it more painful. Besides, the time you get a replacement part, you may lose your entire crops. I would not recommend a virtually and fully automated system because we all know the downside of it when an app stops working or if the company goes under. Then your product, which is no longer connected to the cloud, basically becomes redundant, so it is a risk you take. Cleaning the tank will be necessary for your system to run smoothly, and that's normal and should be expected. When that time comes, you want the process to be streamlined. The fewer the number of elements you must dismantle, the better. The maintenance of the Aerogarden farm is AI assisted. It should be conducted every 4 to 6 weeks. You will need to empty the water with a supplied hose that you will connect to your pump and redirect the water from your tank to your sink or a bucket. The whole process typically takes around 10 minutes. Then you will clean the tank directly in your sink as it's designed to fit it. Done. In contrast, the Gardyn system with its complex design composed of many interconnected pipes appears to make cleaning more laborious. It usually requires an average of 40 minutes as you will have to dismantle the tubes to practice a thorough cleaning. However, the tank is portable, which makes emptying the water in a sink easy. To remove the water from systems like the Harvest or Lettuce Grow, which contain a lot more water, it's much more physical unless you equip yourself with a much needed submersible pump, which will take care of that for you. In the case of the farm stand, I would recommend buying a round dolly from the outset so that you can wheel it easily to a convenient place for cleaning. Since it has a round shape, it will also allow you access to all plants by simply rotating it. The high harvest can't be moved easily. In fact, it hasn't been designed for that. Its design, which resembles shelves, requires that you mount it to your wall to prevent accidental falls. Have you heard about the IKEA shelf scandal, those that were not properly secured to the wall and tipped over? This is what we are talking about. A smart feature that the High Harvest includes in its design is a filter which will come in handy to prevent debris from being sucked up by the pump and block its turbine or the diffuser. Both the High Harvest and the farm stand feature stackable levels accommodating 6 plants each. While the High Harvest has 5 levels, the farm stand can hold up to 6. However, the plastic used in the High Harvest construction is of thinner density compared to the sturdier plastic of the farm stand. The plastic of the High Harvest will bend under pressure during cleaning, whereas the farm stand's plastic remains rigid, making the farm stand more durable than its competitors. However, the fact that the farm stand uses a monumental one-piece tank makes it more difficult to clean compared to the High Harvest tank. I could not imagine being an old person and having to manipulate that heavy barrel looking like a tank, bending over it to clean it or kneeling or laying it on the ground to get better access to its bottom. This task is already challenging for those in good physical shape, and it's even recommended that you use a pressure washer to complete the job. Before purchasing a hydroponic system, you must determine where you want to set it up. Space availability and lighting are the second vital elements to consider. You can see that the farm stand by Lettuce Grow occupies significant space, but they have addressed this concern with their new model, the Nook, which is designed to be more space-friendly. I have not included it in my review because the farm stand is more versatile in my opinion as a system made for indoor or outdoor usage. But if you plan on growing indoors solely, know that Lettuce Grow also has you covered with the Nook. The most advantageous in terms of space is the Gardyn, which only requires 2 square feet. It also comes with built-in lights unlike the farm stand. If you wish to grow indoors, you must buy those separately and they are expensive, $100 each. It goes without saying that you don't want to grow indoors without lights, I experienced it firsthand when attempting to grow next to a window, and the result was disastrous. After 2 weeks, my plants looked the same exact way as when I first got them. They hadn't grown a bit. So take that factor into consideration if you don't have access to a significant source of light. The high harvest also includes lights but on stands that you will have to organize around your system. This takes a little more space, can be a little more cumbersome, and can be less convenient for children. Some users also complain that they are not efficient at covering the entire system, prompting them to cover their system with Kevlar to make it more reflective. If you break those lights or they stop working and need to be replaced, they will cost you $89 each. But at least you can replace them. I'm not sure how it would work with a system like the Gardyn where the lights are not replaceable, or the Aerogarden. See for yourself. Some reviews highlight the Farm 24 Plus's lack of sustainability, noting that customer service has stated that broken units cannot be repaired. Many reviews also agree that the quality of the lights is problematic. Thus far, we have seen that in terms of durability, for comparable growing capacity, the advantage goes to the farm stand by Let Us Grow thanks to its well-engineered design and high-density plastic that makes it less prone to breakage compared to the iHarvest. However, the lights and pump of the iHarvest are less expensive to replace. Now let's take a look at the growing capacity. What we see here is that the Farm 24 Plus is much more limited in terms of plant numbers. You can only grow up to 24 plants, whereas you can accommodate up to 30 plants with any of the other competitors' systems. The advantage goes to the farm stand, which offers more flexibility thanks to its clever stackable design that allows you to start small with 18 plants and expand to 36 plants. Another drawback of the system by Aerogarden is that you are growing plants on the same plane, and so despite the manufacturer saying that you can grow large plants thanks to the trellis supplied with the system, I hardly see how that can be the case. Plants growing under the same light on the same level will compete for light, and if you grow lots of them, that light won't be evenly available for all of them, as the foliage of some will bring shade to the others. Besides, provided how close the pods are to one another, the roots of the different plants will inevitably intermingle inside the tank, which means you will have to trim them more often. More maintenance is involved in between trimming the roots that are bathing in a limited amount of water, 4 gallons, and refilling that tank frequently. Besides, this system mainly occupies horizontal space according to many of its reviewers, and despite the manufacturer stating otherwise. Aerogarden is mostly known for its smart countertop solutions or independent units, so this does not come as a surprise. If you ever decide to upgrade, you will be able to do so. This model is stackable up to 2 units with the help of a stacking system that will cost you $45. But will it make sense? Unlike the farm stand, you won't be able to add a new growing bed to a shared tank using the same amount of water, nutrients, and energy. No. What you will be doing instead is stacking a completely new unit on top of another and figuring out how to run a new power cord to an outlet. So I guess if you're a beginner and just would like to take time figuring out whether or not hydroponics is for you, this solution can be ideal because it won't force you to work with a large number of plants straight from the start, and it is also the least costly to afford. Though, know that lots of people additionally find it hard to put this product together, mentioning as a common issue that screws don't line up. Bottom line, if you are planning on a long-term solution, I would not recommend it due to its limited capacity and primarily horizontal space consumption, which defies the purpose of vertical gardening. The Gardyn has a comparable plant capacity to the farm stand, but it features a much smaller 5-gallon tank. In my opinion, it is inadequate for its plant count. If I judge by the amount of water the farm stand consumes per week, you will no doubt feel it more than 2 times a week. The farm stand and the iHarvest offer pretty similar plant capacity, but once again, the flexibility is at the advantage of the farm stand. With the iHarvest, you commit to growing 30 plants from the outset, and provided the small amount of space between each plant, airflow and moisture management will soon become a problem. I would not recommend leaving pots empty to prevent water from escaping through those openings. So in terms of growing capacity, Lettuce Grow once again holds the advantage. Now let's discuss the financial aspect. For some of you, I'm sure you wish I had covered that point first, but as I explained before, when you are considering buying a product in the price range of 800 plus, you want to pay careful attention to the features this product includes rather than just focusing on its price tag. Because the price itself is meaningless, what matters is what justifies it or not. Also, if the price of those machines seems out of reach, before looking away, consider that all those manufacturers provide convenient installment payment options through partnership with companies like Affirm or Afterpay. They frequently offer discounts, which in the case of the farm stand can lower the price by up to $100 or less. Not bad, right? And if you were to consider building your own hydroponic system, fine. After all, it mainly relies on a good pump, a sturdy container, and a few powerful lights. But before you do, think twice about the materials you are going to use to create this system. Industrial systems utilize food-grade plastic for safety reasons, which may be challenging to source for DIY projects involving containers holding up to 20 gallons of water and that are meant to be used indoors. Using inappropriate materials can pose health risk or damage your home. Plastic migrates in the water. Food-grade plastic does too, but it has been tested for releasing less harmful substances. Besides, large tanks are fairly expensive even when bought in DIY stores. Don't trust anyone telling you that you can craft a brand new system for less than $200. And if you acquire a used container, ensure it wasn't previously used for chemicals and that it is not so old that photodegradation and abrasion have taken their toll on it, making it harmful to you. Food for thought here. Let's bring up our price comparison table. What we see here is interesting. Hydroponic systems are undeniably designed to be operated indoors, which is why, except for the farm stand, all other devices include lights in their kits. However, as I mentioned before, Lettuce Grow offers a product with the Nook that is specifically designed for growing indoors. It includes lights, can contain 9 gallons of water, which is pretty decent for the number of plants you can grow on it, and it requires a 4 square meter food space. For the price, I still judge the farm stand more interesting than a Nook in the long term due to its greater versatility. Hydroponics is a commitment. I'm trying to make a point here that thinking long term is really important for a product as expensive as that. You should treat it like a car and don't want to send all that amount of plastic in the trash within 2 years of use, so it's better to target some flexibility. The farm stand offers flexibility despite being the most expensive at $973 for 18 indoor plants. However, the company offers $100 off for email signups. The Nook is slightly cheaper at $799 but accommodates a maximum of 20 plants. The Gardyn is slightly cheaper than the iHarvest for a similar plant number. However, in the case of the Gardyn, the ratio between cost and benefits seems pretty slim to me. Why? Because on top of being fairly expensive, the product is widely described as being poorly engineered. Read those reviews seriously, there are so many of them, some even pointing out the poor customer service of the company, which is really problematic because besides the many technical difficulties users are reporting, it looks like the manufacturer is also tricking their clients into buying an expensive subscription to their app to benefit from all the essential functionalities that make it a self-dependent product. This subscription costs $408 a year. Without it, you will be able to operate your unit and automate the lights and water cycles, but the cameras used to monitor the plant's growth won't work. And this is sad because it's clearly what sets this device apart from its competitors. That being said, if you pay for an expensive subscription and then you realize that you are dealing with an inexistent customer support service, what's even the point in paying so much to get help growing your plants? Besides, it seems to me who doesn't have any cameras included with my farm stand that it is more of a gadget anyway, because the whole point of these hydroponic systems is to make gardening easy and accessible. The farm stand achieves this without the need for daily monitoring. You can even go on vacation without worrying about your plants. If leaves turn yellow or decay prematurely, you don't need cameras to address the problem. The internet and your own eyes are sufficient. In contrast, systems like the iHarvest or the farm stand have mostly positive reviews, and when looking at the bad ones, which are the ones that interest me the most when I'm about to purchase an expensive good, you can see that they are generally less critical compared to the Gardyns. I base my judgment on the severity of the concern, their number, and the solutions that exist or not to fix them, because as I mentioned previously, I understand that a system with parts constantly immersed in water is likely to have some issues. Solutions include the availability of customer service, the ability to replace defective parts, and the quality of those replacements. With Gardyn, issues span nearly every vital component, from the pump to the app, the fragile module connectors, and the lights. In contrast, the top critical reviews for the farm stand mainly concern the lights and the manufacturer's seedlings being infested with bugs. One reviewer mentioned though that the lights almost caused a fire in their basement, noting the lack of an emergency shutoff or surge protector as a problem. A short circuit occurred in my house a few weeks after setting up my farm stand. While I couldn't pinpoint the exact cause since I wasn't using the lights at the time, I suspect it was related to the farm stand as the extension cord that I used to plug the farm stand's power cord got damaged. This was my fault because both the lights and the pump should be plugged directly into a wall outlet, not an extension cord. I haven't personally had any issues with my lights in the 8 months I've been using them, but I acknowledge these reviews and I hope Let Us Grow improves the design. I don't consider the lights a major issue since they are optional and can be replaced with light stands like those used by the iHarvest. I have experienced the aphid infestation firsthand, so I do agree it is a problem with Let Us Grow, but it is also somewhat expected. Since you can grow your own seedlings or purchase them elsewhere, I don't see this as a deal breaker, nor do I find the complaints about the product arriving dirty to be significant concerns. While the Farm 24 Plus by Aerogarden is the most affordable, it doesn't compare in terms of productivity. Remember that you will only grow 24 plants with it, so we will leave it aside for fair competition. Having eliminated the Gardyn and the Farm 24 Plus, we are now left with the iHarvest and the farm stand. While the farm stand offers the flexibility to start small and upgrade gradually, even its smaller indoor unit is pricier than the iHarvest. Therefore, the advantage lies in the iHarvest in terms of starting cost. Plus, it economically makes sense to maximize plant numbers for the amount of nutrients you pour in your tank weekly, especially since there is not much difference between 12 and 36 plants in terms of nutrients needed. It's only one more tablespoon. Know that nutrient solutions or fertilizer are pretty expensive, so the less often you need to add some to your tank, the better. After experimenting for 10 months with various formulas, I may have found a cost-effective solution. For more details, I invite you to watch my video documenting my journey with Let Us Grow, and I also encourage you to subscribe to my channel to get more of my pro tips on hydroponics and aquaponics systems. Regarding plant sourcing, you can either grow your plants from seed as in the case of the Farm 24 Plus or the iHarvest, or you can rely on an auto-refill subscription like the farm stand or Gardyn. There is no obligation to purchase seedlings from the manufacturer, and if you are on a budget, I even recommend you don't, and instead you purchase a seedling starter tray or a countertop hydroponics growing system that you will use as a plant nursery. This is my preferred solution for growing my seedlings. It is budget-friendly, hassle-free, and if you are interested in seeing how it works and how I proceed to grow my seedlings, check my videos on the Dark Ride, which is a knockoff of the Aerogarden Harvest, Bounty or Sprout series, and which will provide you with money guarantee results. Trust me. Now, will you really save money using one of the devices mentioned in this review as their manufacturer claims? My pro answer after close to a year of using the farm stand is in my next video. Don't hesitate to check it out if you want to know further. As you just understood, I opted for the farm stand when I had to decide which system to acquire 10 months ago, and I did so because it seemed to me it was the most flexible of the four systems. I like that you could start small and upgrade as you go, which provides you with more room to learn and to enjoy the process. I started with the smallest farm stand that hosts 12 plants, and after 2 months I upgraded to 18 plants by purchasing an additional growing ring and a growing light. Then I upgraded 2 more times within 4 months to get to 30 plants. Unlike the Farm 24 Plus, you can really grow all types of greens, large and small, on the farm stand because you have space for their roots to grow and thrive, and the lights that surround each level of the structure evenly distribute light to each plant. Currently, I'm growing a variety of herbs, veggies, and a few fruits on my farm stand, including cilantro, chives, parsley, mint, thyme, lettuce, kale, tatsoi, basil, zucchini, tomato, eggplant, peas, cauliflower, and strawberries. Overall, I'm very satisfied with my journey with the farm stand. It's a robust product that lives up to its promises, but that indeed comes with a cost. Now, if I were to purchase a new system today, I would probably consider the iHarvest for its design that takes smaller space, its tank that feels easier to clean, its parts that are less expensive to replace, but mainly for its built-in trellis that no doubt simplifies the cultivation of upward growing plants like tomatoes or raspberries, as well as heavy vegetables that require support like cantaloupes, eggplants, or zucchinis. For individuals who may be older or less physically capable or who are on a tighter budget, the Farm 24 Plus is a viable option. It is pretty easy to set up and maintain as all its parts are relatively small, and listen to that, they are dishwashing safe. To provide a fair review, I want to note that the Gardyn has significantly improved since its beta version 1.0 and is now in its fourth generation. Many issues reported by earlier customers have likely been addressed. Gardyn provides a comparison table on its website highlighting these improvements. The company's FAQ includes a disclaimer offering assistance to customers who purchased a version 3.0 before April 2024 or any previous generation, which I find reassuring. However, I could not help but notice that lots of customers are unhappy with the customer service and still complain about the Gardyn app, leaving me to wonder about the reliability of this statement. To summarize, my ranking of those four systems will put the farm stand first for its growing flexibility from 18 to 36 plants indoors or outdoors, its robust build, its simple assembly, its big capacity tank, and its basic operability. On the downside, this product requires a significant amount of space and has a tank that is heavy to lift and somehow physically demanding to clean. In second position is the iHarvest, an equally highly functional product that allows you to grow 30 plants. I appreciate its included trellis and its filter, which makes cleaning less frequent. On the downside, this product is made of soft plastic, must be anchored to a wall, and has lights on stands that have reportedly small coverage. The Farm 24 Plus ranks third for its AI-assisted maintenance, easy operability, and dishwasher-safe parts. I do not like its limited growing capacity, the tight amount of space between each plant, the fact that it is difficult to assemble, cannot be repaired, but mainly its stacking concept that requires purchasing a completely new unit instead of a new growing module. Last in my ranking is the Gardyn. While it has the most beautiful design of all four products in my opinion, it falls short in more essential areas. The app is unreliable and its most interesting features require an overpriced subscription. The parts are cheaply engineered and lack durability, the tank capacity is rather small, and the customer service is poor. I'm glad that you made it this far, and I know it was a lot of information at once, but really I think that you need all this knowledge to make a sound decision. Now you know everything, or at least everything I can think of to make that call. Now it's your turn to choose. I would love to hear which system you opted for, so please share in the comments. And if this video has been useful to you, you know the game, please give it a thumbs up to support more content like this. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to sharing more sustainable insights with you in my future video. I'll see you later.